Stadiums are often packed to capacity when US college teams play, and companies dole out millions of dollars in advertisements and sponsorships. The money goes to the universities and colleges, not the players. But now, California has enacted a new law so athletes can earn money from endorsements.
Now law in California.
Experts say it could be the first of many states to do so.
This is the first time a state has passed this kind of legislation. Now, that's not to say other states aren't trying. There's a very similar bill in the state of New York right now that actually goes a little bit further, that would allow student athletes to take a percentage of all athletics departments' profits.
But athletes won't be getting checks anytime soon. California's new law will only go into effect in 2023. And it's expected to hit legal hurdles well before that from the National Collegiate Athletic Association, better known as the Ncaa. It's the regulatory body that represents more than 1,100 universities and colleges. Last year, it earned more than $1 billion from sports. Together with endorsements and other revenue streams, the college sports industry is worth around $14 billion. The Ncaa says letting student athletes profit from their skills would disrupt their academic careers.
It would be a bad mistake to create campus employer-employee relationships with student athletes. It would distract in a very significant way from pursuing what they really need to pursue, an education. And we need to emphasize the value of that education.
Critics say student athletes are required to spend so much time on the field that they're often unable to concentrate on their studies, and that the Ncaa is more concerned about making money than helping players. Whatever its motivations, the regulator's not willing to share its earnings with players. And as long as it makes the rules, it's also where the buck stops. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, Andy Schawrz joins us now from Oakland, California. He's an economist specialising in antitrust and damages and sports economics. Welcome to the program, Andy. Now, I think it's hard for those of us outside of the US to really comprehend just how big college sports is. But what's your view on this reform that's been passed in California?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. Teşekkür ederim. The most important thing to understand about college sports in the United States is that it's run by an economic cartel. People think of the NCAA as being sort of a benign tournament organizer, but its primary economic focus is to make sure that schools who actually have an economic incentive to pay their athletes because they generate large amounts of revenue don't. And they have dressed this up in the guise of sort of an ethos of amateurism, but as I'm sure that viewers all of your viewers know, that also was true for the Olympics, that there was a long tradition of maintaining that what made the Olympics great was that no one was paid, but the Olympics remain great now that athletes are paid. And this is true across all sorts of sports. In the United States, baseball started out as amateur in the 19th century. World tennis was amateur until 1968. You can point to many other sports. And essentially, there's absolutely no evidence of any sport where paying the athletes has lowered interest in the sport. And there's lots of evidence of the reverse. So with that in mind, then college sports are a big deal, especially football and basketball in the United States. College basketball and college football were popular and existed long before professional sports here. And so they have very strong brands. That's different from other sports like baseball, which did not start in the college system, or soccer. And as a result, fans who love the NBA and love the NFL can also get a great deal out of enjoyment out of college sports. It generates $14 billion here, and I think that is hard to understand for other people.
Okay, and I just want to squeeze in one last question. Now, as we heard, the NCAA is opposed to this because it says it'll detract from these athletes' studies. Do you think that's the case, or are they more concerned about saving their own skin?
It doesn't make any sense to say that athletes getting money for endorsements, advertisements they film over the summer, use of their existing film footage, etc., will have any impact on their studies. It is a monetary issue. The NCAA's problem is that athletes spend 50 hours a week at a full-time job of athletics, and they're trying to essentially find ways to avoid paying for that.
Okay, well, let's see what happens when this law takes effect in a few years' time. Andy Schawrz, thanks so much for your analysis.